Okay, today we're going to explore a little B minor blues with a sharp 5 in it. I'd like to thank Max Marconi for providing the backing track, really cool track of The Thrill Is Gone by B.B. King. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play over this, and then I'm going to come back and explain to you what I did and hopefully shed a little light on the minor blues. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this fabulous blues minor thing. It's a B minor. So what I was really doing there is B.B. King, Thrill Is Gone, I call it a sharp 5 minor blues. So I was really working off the minor pentatonic scale, which we all know by now. But generally what I do is I work off two shapes. One is if I'm looking at the B minor chord, and this is kind of a B.B. King thing, I'll work off of that B minor chord, that part of the minor pentatonic scale. So I'm using these notes here. But I'll also go up. It's funny because that's like a triangle shape in the blues. I think of that, I kind of work off patterns a lot. You know, we're talking about scales, but I don't think so much scales when I'm playing the blues. I think because I want to come in with, you know, I always say the goal is soul. So if you're being soulful and expressing yourself in a melodic way, that's why B.B. was so great, and Clapton and all the great players. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to be melodic, leave a little bit of space, because he's got that great rhythm track going, right? So I don't want to overstate myself as a melody. So what I'm in the B.B. King tradition, I do something like, and what I'm always coming back to the root note, which is a B. So if you're in the key of B minor, if you land on the B note, that'll always bring you back home, okay? So no matter what I'm doing as far as licks, whether I'm doing you'll notice I'm coming back to that. And the cool thing, we were talking about this before, is when you're doing like a 1-4 change, you don't really have to change to that E minor. You can, and I did at times. But mainly, if you stay within this pattern here, you can get a lot done. Right there. Forget about the low stuff for now. We're just talking about getting melodies in there. That's a B minor. So these are all B minor chords. I even hit that high B once in a while. So the question is then, what do I visualize, or what am I thinking when I'm playing? Well, I'm thinking a little bit like a singer. When I'm playing a lead, if it's not melodically strong enough, you know, I was watching a John Mayer video earlier, or the other day, and he was talking about how when he plays leads, he tries to make it sound like an old, you know, really soulful black blues singer, because that's where the blues is coming from, in this case, B.B. So when I'm playing a lead, I'm thinking of a little time space by, you know, kind of, and then I'll let it breathe a little bit, right? A little call and response. Now, as I mentioned, when you're going to that E minor chord, which is a 4, in this case, the 7th, but you have a couple of choices. You have many choices. One is you can just don't even worry about the change and continue playing in your. But what I would emphasize here is what makes the minor pentatonic blues interesting is when you start to stretch notes out, and usually it's a half step like this. So you notice I'm going up to that 9th fret, 7th, so we're at the 9th fret on the D string, 7th fret on the G string, 9th fret on the D string, and then what I'll do is I'll stretch up a half. Because in the blues, this is obviously blues, and blues stretches out into the rock and roll and country and everything else. It doesn't have to be, you're not looking for it to be perfectly in tune. It's not supposed to be. That's a little bit happy, right? Blues is supposed to be a little bit, it's not supposed to be perfectly in tune. It's supposed to go out chord a little bit. So in order for your soloing to be expressive, the blends, when you're blending and bending, or the phraseology has got to be soulful. Now you notice I'm playing without a pick. I'm doing sort of an Offler thing. And what I'm talking about here really is approach. You know, how you approach it. It's a matter of taste. Some people like to play faster. Some people play. I like to play a little bit more deliberately, but we always want to play with intention. So apparently, you know, Jason was in the kitchen and he was like, "Hey, what was that thing you did? You were playing just regular blues licks," and I was starting to go, I wonder what he's going to do next. He's got to change it up. So I did change it up. I did several things. One thing I did was when I went to that E minor chord, I did a little what I call, you know, spelling the chord out. It's like a chord tone. I took part of that E minor chord, which we all know that, right? I took the last three notes and I just spelled it out. And then I went to that D note, which is, okay, 10th fret of the high E. So I call that a splatterly do. And these are all like little techniques that you can incorporate into your blues playing so they don't get boring, right? So, but we went to that E minor chord instead of continuing, which fine, it's legit. That's all good. But I wanted to do something a little more thematic, so that's when I went. And then I went back to more staccato kind of thing. And then you go to G and an F sharp. And there you, again, you can stay in your pattern of the B minor pattern. It's like you would sing it. I was down for a while, but I'll be sorry someday. So often, some of the better players that I've seen, Robert Cray among them, you'll see them, you watch them, when they're playing a solo, they'll actually sing it. That's not a bad exercise. I think it's a really good exercise to actually sing along with your playing. Because when you're singing along with it, it's going to hopefully have a strong melody. So that's some of the things I was doing. Another thing I did was, and Jason had mentioned this, I started playing octaves. Now, this particular octave I was doing, it kind of takes it out of that straight up staccato kind of arpeggio thing and goes into a sort of a smooth, kind of almost a Hendrix sound. What I'm doing is I'm just taking my index finger, it doesn't matter where it is, I'm hitting the A string, whether it's on the second, in this case on the second fret, and then I go ahead and hit the octave. So if you do it this way, if you see that shape, you're going to get an octave. So that's a B, and that's a B. So by doing that on the G string, just 2 frets up, this shape right here, you can just go like this. Kind of got almost like a, I don't know, like a Arabian Zeppelin kind of. Hendrix was really fond of that. So when you're able to do that, you can approach it in the same way you're approaching your phrasing and your melody sense in the minor pentatonic. Same thing. You can choose your notes. You'll hear when it's right. So use the same melody sense that you do in your minor pentatonic blues scale when you do your octaves. And one last trick I'll show you, which I didn't really do, but I often do when I'm playing live. I'll be playing with a straight tone, and sometimes I'll just want to kind of rest, and I'll hit a tremolo. the slide. Let's see. Yeah. So this slide here, when you're in a B minor, and this will work in any minor key, all you got to do is take your first finger and play the D and the G string of, you're just basically playing a partial of that B minor chord right here. Because that is the B minor. There's two of the notes from it. Now slide it up 2 frets. Now you'll recognize that, okay? That's a very greasy Memphis kind of. Let us go. Now I would say that that falls under what I would call vocabulary, and we were talking about this, you know, because when you're playing a song like this, you're playing chords, you're playing lead, and then you're playing chord tones, and then you're playing octaves. So there's so many more places that you can go other than just straight lead guitar. I really like the way that Hendrix would do a great players will play chordal melodies, interior melodies within their minor blues or major. It doesn't matter what it is. So there's I guess what I'm really getting to is there's so much more to do other than just playing lead arpeggios, which are important. But if you're not B.B. King with a backing, you know, track or with a backing band that's killer with a rhythm guitar player and horns and everything, sometimes we need to make it interesting within our rhythm playing. Minor 4. That one I'll show you right now. What I was doing is, again, I'm hitting the minor 4, which is the E minor. And instead of just hitting a straight chord, I'm playing a partial and going. That's kind of a Mark Knopfler trick. So I'm hitting the D string and the B string. What is that? 9th fret and 8th fret. And then back to the B minor. But you can do so hammer on. So again, these are all little tricks and tips, right? To make your blues, spice it up and make it really cool. So I hope you enjoyed that. I did. I just love playing what I call a sharp 5 minor blues. In this case, it's The Thrill's Gone. It's also many other songs, including some of mine, which I'll probably show you down the road.
My friend Jimmy has the coolest guitar lessons. Go to jimmydillon.com/free and get all your amazing gifts. He's the best. Roll, rock and roll. Stay awesome and rock.